Welcome to season 13 of the Social Work Rants podcast, providing an inside look of the social work and mental health profession. Season 13 will continue to dive into the struggles of social work entrepreneurship, social work being political, discussing the intersectionality of mental health and finances as it relates to social work and society as a whole. Let's get it. Hello, social workers, mental health professionals, and change agents. Welcome to another episode of the Social Work Rants podcast. I'm your host, Bash Moreno. Saludos a todos. Greetings to everybody. Thank you for tuning in, tapping in wherever you are watching or listening to the podcast. Thank you for supporting like you guys always do. Special guest at this time. He's actually been on the podcast, 1/4 of one of the great social work podcasts of all time, Melanie Social Work. We still go back and forth, especially during basketball season and wrestling. So that's part of our self-care, which is very important.
Yeah.
And if you're not following this gentleman, you're doing yourself a tremendous disservice because all his lives are lit. His IG lives are lit, and yeah, make sure Marvin Toliver. How you doing, my friend?
You know, I'm one of the guys from my group says I'm doing as well as capitalism will allow allow us to do. And that's good. Yeah,
That's real.
thank you for the intro. Even though you choose all of the wrong basketball teams and wrestlers, you know, it's good to be in space with you. Yeah, I'm here. I'm not gonna lie and be like, I'm great. I'm not great, but I'm here.
That's all we can do in 2026 is somehow still be here and be present for ourselves, be as present we can be for our clients and our communities as possible. But it's definitely hard.
Yeah, yeah, a lot happening in the world, and I'm sure folks are going through things in their personal lives as well. So I just, yeah, just I hope everyone can find time and space to just to just rest for a while, to pause, be silent for a bit, just because there's so much going on. Yeah,
So much going on simultaneously, and literally like every day, like three, four, five things happening
yeah,
at one time. If you're paying attention, and it's like I can't. I need a break. And
yeah,
it's like I still like struggle to find that balance of like how much do I take in with the balance and like should I like just focus on my immediate needs and like my immediate family, whatever thing anything happen, like I don't got it today, I don't got it this week. I try again
yeah.
the next day or the next week or whatever. So it's a fine line, especially us as social workers. We always gotta be on top of things and things are happening that are affecting our communities, are affecting like my work at 9 to 5, and like Trump doing something that might affect how I get my checks. So it's like
Yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah, yeah. And as social workers, I think a lot of us naturally are caretakers, and so a lot of us are taking care of other people, and so with a lot of the cuts to all of the things, right? Like we're probably overextending ourselves in some ways for clients, for family, and typically we are the last person as far as the priority, and so I can definitely, or I definitely want to encourage people, caretakers, helpers, healers, social workers to like be a little bit selfish with your time, with your energy, because you have to be.
Yeah, you definitely have to be during this time and just give yourself grace, give yourself just like acknowledge like I don't have it today. Like, just
Yeah.
yeah, I'll try again tomorrow, and if you don't have it tomorrow, just at the end of it, you still gotta try, but do it at your own pace because there's a lot happening, and there's stuff that's happening every day that's affecting our clients, and not just federal level. There's state level, depending on what state you're in. There's stuff happening, and I'm paying attention where I'm at in Delaware a little bit, and like damn, I really moved to a freaking shit show. That's happening. And we like an hour from each other. There's so much that's like happening, not happening. And
Yeah.
it's like, why can't stuff happen in Philly happen here? And like kind of like vice versa. And it's like
Mm,
too it's a lot. But
yeah.
we gotta pay attention to what's happening because local things might have more effect than what's happening on a federal level.
Yep. Yeah.
So all that to say, for those who don't know who you are, and it's been like almost 6 years since you've been on the podcast.
It's been a little bit, been a little while. Yeah.
Well, pandemic, pandemic times, and gracious enough for you guys for coming on during that wild, crazy time to now let people know who you are and what you do in our space of social work.
Yeah. Again, I'm Marvin Toliver. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. Um, what do I do? What don't I do? Yeah, so I have a private practice, Reimagine Culture LLC. That's where I see my clients. I do individual couples, and I do some group as well, but I do that more with my nonprofit. So I'm also founder and executive director of a nonprofit called Dear Black Man You Good. We aim to improve the mental health and overall wellness of all Black men through radical education and community care. And so, really using more non-traditional ways for Black men's healing. And so, we do a lot of groups. We do outdoor excursions. We just went hiking with the group, and then we also want to train Black men to then provide care for other Black men, whether that's in a therapeutic role, whether that's just like in a mentoring role. But we want to provide each other with the resources so that we don't have to depend on systems. We don't have to depend on the state. We don't have to depend on a licensed clinical, whatever the fuck. So, we can actually heal each other kind of like, we used to do when we think about ancestors. So, yeah, so that's kind of what I do. Sorry, I'm talking about that. That's my like main passion project right now. But I also, I'm a TEDx speaker. I was featured on Oprah's Color of Care documentary as a cycle breaker for the Smithsonian Channel. Um, I do speaking gigs, so I do a lot of work around decolonizing therapy and decolonizing therapy practice. I am a supervisor, so for any clinicians in Pennsylvania that are looking for a supervisor, I am very good. Yeah, teaching people how to do therapy, just because I know that I remember me coming out of grad school, just like, all right, got to do therapy now. It's like I have all these theories, all these interventions, but like, how do I actually do it though? So
Mm-hmm.
so I have a couple trainings. Actually, I will have a three-part training series starting in September that I'm really excited about. So yeah, I have two podcasts. I have the Chasing Liberation podcast and the Dear Black Man You Good podcast. Yeah, just moving and grooving and whatnot.
A lot to unpack there. You're doing a whole lot. Um, so you say, are you looking for supervisees in PA for PA licensing?
I mean, I'm not looking for supervisees. No, yeah, yeah, I actually I have supervised three individuals, and I'm currently in the process for right now. My supervisee is about to take the exam, so we're preparing for that. So yeah, but
That,
I've found to. Hmm?
you forgot to mention you do some ASWB test prep.
I used to do ASWV test prep, Jesse and I. They are changing the exam though, so I don't know how relevant our course is going to
Mm,
be. So yeah, we might update it for the new exam, or we might just that just kind of was what it was.
good. How now as a business owner with an LLC, how is business and what was that like to like you know uh the process of getting that LLC and that whole thing because you're based in Philadelphia, that might be different from how other states like run their business and getting that LLC.
Yeah, Philly was fairly straightforward as far as the LLC process. It most of it, I think pretty much all of it was done online. I'm forgetting how much the fee was for every or the fees were for everything. Getting an EIN, getting a business bank account. Um, yeah, I would suggest people if they do want to start a business, make sure you do the research and make sure you know what you need in your specific state. For Pennsylvania though, it was not super difficult. Just as long as you kind of know what you know what you're going to provide, you know the name of what your business is going to be. You kind of have a plan like I mean you don't have to have a structured like 5 year plan, but just like kind of like a loose plan of like kind of what you want to do, where you want to go. Yeah, you kind of go from there.
And also some market research what people actually are actually going to buy from you.
Yeah. Yeah, market research for sure.
One of my biggest
Knowing
mistakes.
Yeah, I had the privilege of, being on social media, and so people, I told people, yeah, I'm doing therapy. People typically came to me because they already knew me from melanated social work, from the TED, from all these other things. And so that was a tremendous help, because after talking with other people who were looking for advice, I had to remember like, oh, I am privileged in so many ways. One, I'm a man, a cis man in this field, right? And there's not many of us. So in that respect, I'm a cis black man in this field. So even, less of us within the social work field. And then also on top of that, I had this social media following, right? So like for me personally, all of those privileges, as far as in the social work field anyway, being a therapist in the social work field, made it easier for me. And so I had to
Ooh,
remember, like, when I'm giving people advice, I can't give them advice as if they're me, because they're not. And
yeah.
so like some of their struggles that they are going through, I didn't have to face, right? And so I just have to be really mindful about that and think about, to your point, market research, doing your due diligence, knowing who's doing the work that you're already doing out there. Really thinking, is there a space for my product, my practice, whatever it is? Yeah, so that research piece is really important. And community, like, reach out to your community. That's what I did too. I was like, I don't want to fill out these damn forms. Hit up my friend Sade. Sade, how I do this? So she sat with me on a Zoom and did it with me. And so I would say, don't be afraid to ask for help, because we all need help. We all need it.
No, no, absolutely. Especially when it comes to well, anything, but especially on a business venture that
Yeah.
initially you gotta use your own money to like do whatever it is you're trying to do until you finally get paid on the business side, and that might be very quickly. That might take years, and it's be on that struggle bus and
Yeah.
another hamster wheel on top
Yeah.
of a 9 to 5.
Yep. 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 Yep.
I had the pleasure of being live for your TEDx talk. Uh, what and sharing something I would say I didn't know, and a lot of people probably didn't know unless your immediate circle. But before we get into the topic, like how did it? Because that's actually one of my goals, being a TEDx speaker. What was that process like? How do you get selected? Like a little backstory.
Yeah. Trying to remember the process. How did we come across?
Because it's been a while. It's been like 3 years already, at least.
It's
At
been, yeah,
least 3 years.
it was, I think, 2022. Yeah, so
Oh,
four
4 years.
four
Yeah.
years, yeah. Um, so on the podcast, the Melanated Social Work podcast, back when I was doing that, we had an ex NFL player who was very open about his trauma, his mental health diagnoses, and he actually did a TEDx talk, but he did his at home. And so it was like recorded at home and all of that. And he was just like, yeah, it wasn't the whole TEDx experience, but it was like enough. He asked Yeah, he did. He asked us. I think he asked all four of us actually, um, if we were interested in doing a TEDx talk. I said yes. I'm not sure if the other guys had reached out to him or not, but um, he then connected me to the person that is um, in charge of TEDx Wilmington, because so TED, I believe, is like the national thing. So if you do a
Mm.
TED talk, that's like the big one. TEDx has like regional talks. So TEDx Wilmington, TEDx LA, they have different regional ones. So for TEDx Wilmington, I spoke to the guy. He was just like, yeah, I mean, we'd love to have you speak at our next one. We had these monthly kind of check-in calls where they gave us uh just like little tips and techniques for the talk, asked or allowed us to ask any questions or anything. Yeah, and then they kind of give you free reign around like what you want to talk about. Um, for me, I knew I had this story in me that I wanted to get out, and I think I wrote it all in one afternoon, actually. Like I just like it was like a Sunday early morning, or sorry, late afternoon, late morning, early afternoon, and I just wrote for maybe 35, 40 minutes and then put it away. I didn't look at it. I didn't look at it for a good like month and a half probably. Um yeah, then I sent it to a couple people to get some feedback, edited it, and then I was like, all right, here it is. um Yeah, I mean, I can stop there. You didn't ask me all that, but you asked me kind of how it started. So yeah, I got connected through an ex-NFL player. That's the short answer. Got connected through him. He connected me, and yeah, did the thing.
Yeah, and that's I always talk about like networking, and like I try to go to events that social workers are not traditionally in. So it's the importance of like getting out of my comfort zone and just meeting people, talking to as a natural introvert, just getting out of my shell and meeting people, different things like that. So having somebody on the podcast like, hey, like you're interested in this idea, and an idea to actually implement that idea and to give the talk, just to give people that that perspective on like the flow of everything is is important. What was the topic?
Well, the topic was, what was the title? Man, I haven't even watched that thing in a minute. It was called Masculinity. I gotta actually look it up. I forgot the name of it. But the
Or you should just give like the gist of what.
yeah, yeah. So it talked about my journey with homophobia, with kind of figuring out um um kind of my masculinity, and how that kind of, or how the idea of I say harmful or toxic masculinity played into me staying silent around sexuality, and then ultimately contracting HIV in 2015. Yeah. Um, yeah. So it was a pretty, there it is. Black masculinity, homophobia, and HIV and unmasking, which it looks like somebody did something else to it. So I got to watch that. Oh,
Uh,
people are using this. Okay. Sorry. I didn't know that. Yeah, so super personal, obviously. Very heavy topic, but I had, a lot of my close friends and family there. You were there, obviously, which was great to have. Yeah, so I felt really supported through the whole day. Yeah, it was super dope. Super emotional too.
oh yeah, definitely was emotional. I'm like Marvin coming to my state and sort of like a 40-minute drive. I'm gone.
I appreciate it. I appreciated it. Yeah. Um, yeah.
What they say you had that story like inside you, that's kind of how like when I wrote my first book, literally just myself just trauma like they got to get it out somewhere because everything was closed. Like I can't go to the gym, I can't
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
nothing. Like and just words like popped in my head. Like what? How was that like process? Like from like why did you want to get that story out and using a TEDx platform to do it?
Yeah. I think I wanted to shine light on a thing that a lot of people uh don't talk about and keep hidden. And I think these are like the three things, right? So like homophobia. Like homophobia is like a huge thing, not only in the black community, but and I think in the world, right?
Mm,
Like, um, especially in America. And so to for me to and this is just my opinion. I think that I am perceived as a more masculine presenting, black man, bearded and all the things. Um, and so to see someone who presents like me talking about their struggle with homophobia, because I think that when people think about LGBTQ community, they really think about more femme folks. And so like, especially when it comes to men. And so that's I think that's one thing is that like homophobia or sorry, people who are queer don't just look a certain way, like they look
mm,
all the ways.
right.
Um, I think black masculinity is another thing that we don't really dissect enough. And that's something that I do both in my men's groups and just in the work that I do is really thinking about what are the ways in which masculinity is is harmful to you or is harmful to the people around you. Um, and as I talk about in the TEDx talk, there are these rules like I can't ask for help, I can't open up about around my emotions, I can't be queer, right? Like, and so and struggling with all of those things when I like internally I wanted to, but all these messages told me that I couldn't, or that it was or I'd be seen as whatever if I did. That struggle I think doesn't get spoken about enough.
Mm,
And then HIV. Like, HIV is one of those things that like people don't really talk about. Um and there's still such a huge stigma as well.
absolutely.
And so I think those three things kind of together were the things that like got me to where, 'cause essentially to the point where I was. And so I don't know, I wanted to one, obviously share this story, this personal story about me so folks know more about me. I felt like I was holding in a lot of this and like I finally got out. For a lot of my family too, they didn't know. Like they didn't know so intimately kind of the story and the details of all of these things. And so it was nice to have them there as well. Um but yeah, there's so many people struggling. There's so many people struggling with the same stuff. I remember I did a presentation at a social work conference. I'm thinking it was either in Texas. I'm forgetting. I think it was in Texas. But I mentioned that I did the talk, and because I always do my introduction, I talk about kind of the things that I've done. And so I mentioned the talk, and it was the first activity where I had them break out and talk amongst each other for like 10 minutes. And a guy comes up to me, he's like, thank you so much for sharing this. I was diagnosed back in, 90 whatever, and like your story is really powerful. Right. And so like things like that just really are powerful to me just
Mm,
because so many people can gain um just so much just from our own story, not even just my story. And I always, and sorry, I'm rambling, but I always people are always like, oh, you're so courageous, like you're so, you were so brave, you were so whatever. I actually don't think it's courageous. I think firefighters risking their lives and burning, like that shit's courageous, right? Like someone running in front of a truck to save a baby, like that's courageous. I'm sharing an experience that millions of other people like share. They're just too
mm,
afraid to say it. And so like I don't see it as courageous. I see it as like open. I see it as vulnerable. I see it as like not something that we usually do. But I personally I don't see it as courageous. But I can see how other people could see that. But there's nothing to, what's the fear? I have no fear.
Yeah, I think I think people use courageous because there's been so much stigma and so much harm,
Yeah.
especially here, in the U.S. From when HIV and AIDS first came to the scene in the 80s, and people were taking the cocktail, the 1,001 pills, to
Hmm.
how much has changed with Victoria's been a game changer,
Hmm.
to like people who are struggling with taking pills that they can take a shot now.
Hmm.
So much innovation in terms of medicine has changed. I think to a point that you can make an argument that has might have caused some harm, that people are no longer talking about HIV too, because all right, there's a pill to prevent getting HIV. Okay, once I have HIV, it's like, all right, I just take Biktarvy and then until I become undetectable. So let me just continue to be reckless
Hmm.
and whatever. So you can make that argument too. I've seen it like both ways working in the three social work jobs, working with individuals living with HIV. So I've seen a gamut of different things.
Yeah. And I think also, I mean, and that's not, I don't know how common that is, but I could understand, because obviously there's a deeper like mental health something going on, right? If like folks already have been diagnosed, they're like, just take a shot or take a pill, take a whatever, and they still go out and do that same kind of reckless behavior. I would say there, like, again, there's so much behind it a lot of
Mm-hmm.
the time, right? Some people just like sex, and that's fine. And they have high sex drives, and listen, have your sex, right? But also, like, let's be safe about it. Let's
Mm-hmm.
be responsible about it.
Yeah, and again, so much it's come a long way. Like I remember when Magic first got diagnosed, and people thought it was just okay, he's gonna die, and then like he's a multi-billionaire
Still
now,
here.
and the myth is he's cured. So that's that myth that's in the community.
There was a South Park episode long, long time ago when they were just like, money's the cure. And they just like were blending up money and had people drink. It was wild. But like, I don't know if they're wrong about that. But I mean, money gives you some things, gives you access to some things, obviously. Um, but yeah, it's I think it's something that folks don't talk about enough. I know that, during our last call, we were talking about the Trump administration and kind of the different cuts. I was doing some more research, and over 1,700 clinics were cut globally. And these are people obviously in America, but then you think about some of the other countries that don't have anything, like don't have access to anything, or it's so dangerous, right, for them to be part of a group that like they can't go anywhere else, right? And so like thinking about sex workers, thinking about other men who have sex with men, thinking about IV drug users, thinking about organizations that present mom to child HIV, like a lot of those services are getting cut. And it's interesting. I was reading that the Trump administration, he vowed to get rid of HIV/AIDS by 2030. Um, and that was shocking, right?
Yeah,
Um,
especially because Biden had that same vow when he was president.
I mean, I'm talking about that, man. But but yeah, so through this program called PEPFAR. So PEPFAR was actually created by George W. Bush. Surprise, surprise again. But that's it was PEPFAR is the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief. And so like George W. and I think George H.W. Bush actually did a lot of work around HIV AIDS and like prevention and not only in the States but abroad as well. And so to see this money now being cut by the Trump administration from over $1 billion to like maybe 200, a little over $200 million is significant. Like people are going to struggle and people are going to die. Like, and I think
Mm,
people again don't realize that like people are going to die. And that's what's so devastating about this is that like folks are, have depended on these funds and these clinics and these services and their medication. And in Philadelphia, there's a program called SPBP, the Special Pharmaceutical Benefits Program, that I was taking advantage of because I didn't have medical insurance because it was too
mm,
expensive. And so I got my meds covered. I got my visits, my monthly visit, or not, it wasn't monthly at the time, it was like every 3 months, but my visits covered, my testing was covered, right? All for free. And so a lot of that stuff is gonna be gone. Um,
yep.
and then the question is like, well, okay, well, what do they do?
And,
Um,
and
yeah.
then add the layer of was I my last HIV job I had working with a lot of the undocumented folks
Mm,
specifically in southern Delaware. There's a huge Haitian population,
mm,
and literally this week their temporary protective status was cut by the administration. So like you're dealing with HIV, and now you're basically illegal, for lack of a better word, in the country. So all that is continual layers on top of everything that like how we began this conversation, just layers of doing things and all everything happening all at once.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's hard not to think that our I'm controversial. It's hard to think that our government, not hard not to think that our government's not trying to kill us.
I think I tell my wife this once every like 2 to 3 months, like everything's intertwined to purposely kill black and brown folks.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's something that um what did he say? Mark Lamont Hill, he said, America doesn't have feelings. It has what was it? America doesn't have feelings. It has some. Anyway, he was alluding to the fact that this is a business. America's a business.
Mm,
And I was thinking about it as like, yeah, when you have a business, your citizens are either helping the economy or they're harming the economy. And so it feels like, and people with HIV who are low income, who don't have a lot of things, they're not good for business. And so what do you do for people who aren't good for business? You cut them. And that's exactly what I think this administration is doing. It's like, how valuable are you as an American citizen? And if you are not valuable,
and, we,
figure it out.
and which is crazy because there's a lot of poor white folks that 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 he's basically killing off
Hmm.
too, and they're not realizing that they, they're on the chopping block with us.
Yep. 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 That's why, oh man, Black Panthers. Uh, the kid that got killed, super fucked up. Who was bringing everybody together. Oh my God, I'm blanking on his name. Not Huey Newton. Sorry, give me a second.
But what to
Um,
say, even when we had our call and just like,
Fred
well,
Hampton. Sorry, Fred Hampton.
yes,
Because he was trying to bring together everyone, right? But by talking about how the state was so shitty, he was bringing together the poor white people. That's why America got so afraid. It was because it wasn't just black people. He was starting to bring together poor folks, people of all ethnicities, and being like, "Hey, they fucking us all over. Like, we really got to do something about it, right?" And that's why they really started going hard for the Panthers. Sorry, were you saying what?
nothing. When we had our call and like I remember, like I said, my last job I had in educating my clients, like just kind of giving them like a game plan, like yeah, in case Trump wins, which is an excellent chance he is going to win. You need to come up with a game plan of what you're going to do to
Yeah.
continue to get your medicine. Think about potentially moving back if possible to your native countries, like, or like figuring out like you have to go to another state. Like just thinking about all the different scenarios, for yourself to make sure one, you get your medicine and that you're safe and that you have just your basic needs met, and
Yeah.
because this might be a reality, and you you live in southern Delaware, which is more uh Trump leaning than where I live up north. So it's like,
Yeah.
and southern Delaware has dealt with police force in certain towns assisting ICE agents making arrests. So it's um just kind of like trying to help my clients out. And when I was like resigning, like, hey, like I'm resigning, but let's come up with a game plan to like try to help you out in case Trump does win, and which is an excellent chance he was going to win. And
Hmm.
sure enough, 2 years of madness and way worse than his first term,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
scary because he jacking shit up the first time.
I thought we learned from the first. I thought everyone learned the first time around. I thought was the impeachment thing was the done deal, but guess not.
Impeached
Um,
twice.
felonies and I just a laundry list of shit that no one other than a rich white man could get away with. Um,
I still don't understand how he was allowed to even run. So
yeah, yeah, it's one of those things that's like, you know, at a pool when they're like, no pooping in the pool. You don't need the rule until someone poops in the pool, you know?
yeah.
And I think like they didn't expect somebody this unhinged to be the president, so there are no rules around it. There are no laws around it. Um, which here we are, you know. But every time I hear the story is kind of like the ones you're telling. I feel I just feel so much for those folks. Like I can't imagine just not being just not feeling safe, like 24/7, just not feeling safe, right? Like at any moment, a police officer or a nice agent or someone could, potentially destroy your not destroy but like shift your entire life, maybe destroy, but shift your entire life, your entire existence, so you have no real control over it. In addition to looking for med or like trying to figure out where your meds are going to come from, in addition to probably trying to figure out, I mean, if they are alone living, trying to figure out money and like I don't know if I've run into anyone who wasn't at least a little bit struggling financially right now. um and so like food, shelter, all of these things are just kind of up in the air. And that's just how people are living their lives. And it's just like, sheesh.
Hmm.
And these are the people that you're, working with. There are people out there that don't have any support and maybe are afraid to ask for support because they're afraid of being deported or afraid of something, shame, or for whatever reasons there are, they don't even, seek out support. And so it's just a really fucked up situation.
Yeah, I even was dealing with like, and again, like being in America, there's like privilege because of
Sure.
the education and things like that. But having clients, they're like needing to know like the basics of how, like they just got contracted HIV and not really understanding how they got contracted, or just
Mm-hmm.
some like in denial, like
Mm-hmm.
or some like be like a couple of situations or like chances are your partner cheated and that's how you got HIV. Like let's cut to the chase
Yeah.
and deal with
Yeah.
the situation at hand. But I didn't want to say it like that, but like that's kind of like my first initial thought. um,
What a way to find out, man.
yeah, so it's like it was just a lot. So like when he took office, my first thought was like, oh those former clients. So like in a way also was like I would be doing so much work. I'm glad I left that job because I might would have had to like stop the podcast honestly because it was just like would have been like way too much.
Yeah. Yeah. That's another thing is us, the social workers, the helpers that, are having to help them navigate all of this and witness all the suffering and the pain and the tears and the anger and and it at the like it's obviously a privilege that, they trust us in these ways, but like that does some damage on us too.
Hmm.
Like it is, I'm working with clients right now who are, I'm just say very generally, they're being fucked over by the court in the state, and they're young and they're queer, and it's just like, and they just kept saying it, it's not fair, and I'm just like, oh, y'all got so much to learn about what's not fair in America, but I don't want to tell you right now because it's only going to send y'all further into rage. So yeah, so for us, like again, as we mentioned in the beginning of this episode, take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves. Like I know we all want to take care of all of our clients in all the ways, but we ain't gonna be no good if we don't take care of ourselves.
That that's how like a couple weeks ago when I released the episode, like take your PTO. It's summertime. Like
Take
your
it.
clients are gonna be all right. Your supervisor's gonna be all right. Figure it out. While you gone, just take it. Even if it's like long weekend, whatever works for you, staycation,
Yeah,
and just do it because it's a lot.
yeah. Groupon still is out there. They still got deals on massages and whatever the hell else. Yeah, yeah, it's free to go outside. Hopefully there's a park near you. Lay down. I don't know, but
Sure, this economy, you go outside and $20 fly out of your wallet like nothing.
listen, you're right. Yeah.
It's instead of like losing a pound here, like you losing like $20 out your wallet, like your wallet feel light.
I don't I don't even have money anymore. Like it's me and my friend were talking about it. It comes in and then goes right back out. Like we're just the middleman. We're the middleman. We're just facilitating the transactions between everybody we got to pay. Because the money comes, I'm like, oh, that's a nice number. And then about a week later, it's like, huh, how do we get down here? um, yeah, America, so much winning, all the winning.
It's crazy. Like uh, inflation, has kicked all our behinds in like the last 6 years, and it's not going anywhere. Like dri driving past a pump has become traumatic. It's like
Oh yeah.
went up 10 cents again, 20. Not even like I've seen like 30 cent jumps. And it's like
Yeah, I don't have a car, luckily. But every time I go and rent cars places and I got to get gas, I'm like, wait, is this what y'all paying every day? Yeah,
and the roads are jacked up. It's like fix the damn roads,
right.
please,
That man,
especially in Philly.
those potholes are aggressive and disrespectful.
Yeah, Delaware got some low key, like the small ones are the ones that jack up like the worst. I seen a crater right by my house. I was like, oh my god, like please fix this before school starts.
Yeah, they had one on the middle of my street, and they put a cone, one of those orange cones, inside the crater, and so you could only see like half of the cone because the crater was so deep. I'm like, what? How? Um, but yeah, so much winning.
But that goes now stuff like that comes from like all the way up to the top, federal down, because you know Biden did do a whole infrastructure bill, and Trump decided to do whatever with it because that at least in Delaware, there was like so much construction happening, and the big sign that says this funded by the infrastructure bill. So like I seen
Mm,
it in real time, like oh, this actual federal policy actually being put to practice in real time, and then all of a sudden, that as soon as he came into office, that immediately stopped. I still see construction all the time, but like, I think Delaware's official colors is the orange cone, especially the big fat ones, not even like
mhm.
the regular ones.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, we're
But
not
I
winning.
but I think that, I mean, and that's something that and I've been wanting to do more is getting more into like local politics. Just because, I don't, who's your representative? I don't know. Who's your council? I see a man, he got an office down the street. I don't know if, I guess that's my council, and I actually want to know like what's going on. Like they give away food every Friday um down the street from where I live, and I love it. Like love that initiative, but like why? Well, how did it get this bad? You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
how did it get to this point? Right? Like I feel like a lot of these services are band-aids, right? And we really got to social work it by the root, look at the root causes and really look at those. But I think it's that combination of like capitalism and politics that just fucks everything up.
no, I absolutely, definitely, the capitalism is crazy, and it's just I've been like you talk about local politics. I'm like learning a little bit and paying more attention. Like, Facebook actually has been great, and there's content creators focusing on Delaware and talking about all the things that's happening. Like, damn, this state is really fucked fucked up, and like, why we got all this, one of the top states in the country in terms of per student, per capita, uh, most money given, and our state is like in the 40s in terms of like overall education. Like, that does
Mm,
something doesn't make sense. Like,
yeah.
something's got to give, and our local communities, like, we need a referendum. We need more money from the taxpayers and to pay for stuff. I'm like, where's the money y'all spend? There's a whole thing happening in my town, is like losing
Mm,
like millions of dollars supposedly being lost, and they
yeah.
still asking for money. I was like, no.
I think that happened with the school district of Philadelphia too. Like a certain
Oh
just
yeah, with the schools.
million,
So
they just lost money. They were just like, yeah, we can't find it. So,
that's
what?
exactly what happened in my
You
town.
can't find a million? You just lost it, huh? Okay.
to
If
to
I
the
if I
point,
don't pay rent for 1 month.
it was to the point one of the board members actually like went on public radio and blamed the residents for a while, and said it was, to use his word, like, we're just in a pickle,
That's
and that's why
stupid.
you lost your seat.
Yeah.
We got voted out.
Goodness. Yeah. So yeah, so I think that more people like us need
Yeah.
to be in charge. And these other folks that like to lose, money. Oh, I don't know where it went. Right? They need to be gone. They need to be gone. Um, yeah. So I think local politics is something I'm gonna. I think at the very least I want to start going to like city council meetings and kind of hearing and seeing everything. Yeah.
Yeah, my council people, I don't know. I know who my representatives are, especially because they were quiet when all the money was lost. So like, I definitely knew who you are, because I won't be voting for you come September,
Yeah.
or possibly November. So yeah, it's important to get into the local politics, because like you said earlier, like, a lot of the stuff that we see are band-aids, and there's church groups that are actually doing work, and my church does a great job with food drives for folks, and been a pleasure to serve that way too, on top of my social work responsibilities. So it's
Nice.
there, there, there's stuff happening, but yeah, we need to find like the root problems, what's happening, and follow the money. Go back to capitalism. Always follow the money,
Follow the money. Yeah.
and that's a good tip for new social workers coming into the profession with these jobs. Like, always follow the money.
Yeah. It's always a never mind, I don't say that.
Go ahead, say.
Always a rich person at the top.
Absolutely.
I'll say that.
And sometimes they look like us and jacking shit up.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do.
I've had a few jobs. People look like us, and agencies no longer in business.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
So where can people reach out to you, connect with you? listen to the podcast, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so people can follow me on Instagram. I'm at M Toliver, 1L, underscore LCSW. You can also follow us at Dear Black Man You Good. So that's Dear what is it? Dear Black Man underscore You Good. Both of those are on Instagram. You can visit my website, marvintoliver.com. You can visit dearblkmanyougood.org. And then the podcast, so the Chasing Liberation podcast, and then the Dear Black Man You Good podcast on all the things. Yeah, check us out.
Awesome. Great talking to you. Great having you again.
Great to
And
be here. Appreciate the invite. After
no, of course,
after 4 or 5 years, I forgot how many.
yes. This was timing is everything. So I'm glad we finally made this work.
Yeah,
On that note, folks, stay educated and stay dangerous.
they're dangerous.